Coming up on this program, we show you how to get connected. Find out how to choose an internet service provider. Discover the newest form of communication, electronic mail.
Ways down and ready to ride. One by one, billion by billion, been holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing, if you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a
What's up, buttercups? I hope everybody is doing as well as can be between you and me. I hope everybody is having a pretty nice night. From your Canadian cousin. Seriously, I do hope that you've had a good evening thus far. Daylight savings time catching up with me and kicking my ass. Did today feel like a Monday for anybody else? Because it felt like a fucking Monday for me. I will tell you that much. But I did a little bit of amazing work today and managed to get us these TPOs to watch. And yes, all the chats on the channel should be available, Bill. You guys are so funny. Today was a double Monday, yes. Courtney, haven't even heard back. So I would say probably not, I don't know. Shane. Oh, John, you're pink there, but you know what's going to happen? I'm going to switch it over so that we can see the video, and it's going to change again. I'm sorry. I am not in charge of that. I already did hit the gym today, though, and steps are already at 11,572. Christopher Angleby! Thank you so much for all your comments. Oh, that's a good reminder. I want to say a special thank you to Dale and to MB who sent me Paypies. Should we call them that? Paypals. Paypals. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Those are just joys that hit deep in my soul. Paypays. We could call them Paypays. And thank you, Courtney. I'm very strict. This is another CY Cellulite Yoga Pants shirt. I love it. But yeah, I worked out today already. This is my first and only Coke of the day that I'll be drinking. And I legitimately felt like a hacker earlier today because I very much thought this video was gone, and then I managed to retrieve it. So we're just living that dream today. That's what we're doing. Anyways, you got your new glasses today, Christopher Angleby. That's awesome. Awesome. MB, do you see Judge Cranky today? Oh, that reminds me. Guys, I did post a video. If you haven't seen it yet, please do me a solid after this. Go check it out. Give it a like. Give it a comment. It is so helpful for the algorithm for YouTube Daddy. And there will be another one tomorrow. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Okay. What do we call this? I literally labeled this video Miracle because I was like, wow. Good job, Paisley. So good. This shirt and the green screen aren't fighting because they are very not close. This shirt is actually like gold with like gold little specks in it. And oh, I hit a button. I don't know what it was. Shit. Oh shit, just because. Okay. Seriously though, I did call it Miracle. Miracle.
Here is determine who's
Obviously,
present.
computer, shut up,
So if I
judge.
call,
Shut up, judge. Shut up. Shut up. There we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. No, not them. These people. Perfect. Let's see what color you are, John. Ugh, yellow. I'm sorry. Here, we'll try one time. We'll try to reset it one time. And after that, I'm not touching it. And I'm not touching it again.
nothing about my decision here that prohibits you from taking up your complaints there. And maybe
Sorry, I wish it worked. It didn't, John. I wish for many things. Most of them don't come true. Judge, can we get on with this? Please.
next will be Jack Brown and Sela Tahiri versus Jesse Paul Davies. 24.
Versus a bunch of Paul babies? Jesse's Paul babies? What in the fuck? Oh no. Courtney. Oh no. Speaking of babies. Okay. Oh, the weed one is so important.
4-369. And are you Sela?
Yes.
Okay, make sure I get everybody's name right. Tahiri, Tahiri. Okay, and you are?
Jack Brown.
Jack Brown, okay, that's both petitioners and you're Jesse Davies.
I am Jesse Davis.
Okay, and are you here with him as a support person?
No, he's asking me. My name is Diane Brown, and in all the evidence, especially the newest printed evidence that was submitted to this court, 1028, filed with this court 1028.
Spoiler alert, ma'am. If you're not a lawyer, you can't come to court for somebody. As much as we see people want to do that all the time, what are you doing? Like, Judge, shut this shit down. She's taking the hot seat too, you know?
Didn't have an opportunity to get that until I think late last week, and the videos, which I couldn't view until I got a computer technical person to assist me. They made it real clear that this isn't just between the petitioners and the respondent, but my name and property and house address are listed throughout, even in the police reports prior to that.
Let me kind of slow you down right there. Who are you in relation to the case? I see you're
I'm
not
the property owner.
the property owner
The property
of,
owner of 3921 Balsam Avenue Northeast, and have knowledge of much of their evidence.
so are you a witness
So
then?
yes, I would say I'm
One of Mr. Davies's witnesses, is that it?
or I would have knowledge on many of their the police reports. I'd have knowledge of the printed part.
Well, let me get started here on the
Sure,
case, and we'll
sure.
see how this
Yeah.
develops, all right?
Thank you.
So, Mr. Brown, Mr. Here, you brought this petition for an anti-harassment order against Mr. Davies. And Mr. Davies is here in response. Mr. Davies, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. I
Okay.
feel like I am. I feel like I'm
Okay.
fully prepared to
All-
defend my.
That's all I need to know. All
Understood.
right, so, and
Understood.
I take it that the petitioners are ready to proceed as well.
Yes, sir.
All right, so this is what we'll do. I'm gonna swear you each party in, and then I'll decide the case. Now, keep in mind that generally speaking, cases like this are heard based on evidence that's filed in the form of declarations, which has been done here. It may or may not be necessary to take any additional evidence in the form of testimony. That just kind of depends. We'll see. But I'll give each side an opportunity to present their case. And so that's the petitioners first. So they'll present their case. I'll listen to that. I'm going to ask that they not be interrupted in that. And then after they've had the opportunity to present their case, then it'll be the respondent's turn. That's you, Mr. Davies. Same thing. You'll present your defense to this petition. And same thing, no interruptions with that, except that I may need to ask questions. If I need to ask questions, those would be the interruptions. Okay. And I will only do that if I really need to be sure that I understand what you're telling me, or if, I need to help sort of direct you onto facts and circumstances that'll help me resolve the case. Okay. And then after I've heard from both sides, I'll make a decision as to whether or not an order is going to be issued. And I'll explain to you kind of the reasons why. If you saw the last hearing, you saw a little bit of that. All right. So with that in mind, the parties, please raise your right hands. Do each of you swear that the testimony that you give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
All right. So Ms. Tahiri and Mr. Brown, you get to go first.
Good morning, Your Honor. Thank you for hearing us today. I'd like to start off by saying that Diane Brown is correct, that she is not the.
Well, I'd like to start off by talking about your hair. And your suit. It reminds me of, I don't know, a wedding featuring Green Day in the early 2000s. That's what it reminds me of. That's the vibe I'm getting here. Like, I have to wear this suit, but I'm a rebel. I don't know. Maybe I'm off. Yeah, he uses Pantene Pro V. And they do look very trimmed. I am usually an advocate for self-care, and trimming almost every hair on your body.
Respondent, but she is incorrect that this case is about her or any issue that may have arisen with her and I and my wife being neighbors. This case is strictly about Jesse Davies and his knowing and willful course of conduct that has alarmed, annoyed, and harassed both my wife and I, serving no legitimate or lawful purpose. Mr. Davies has violated the Washington Administrative Code 173-60 multiple times for Class A EDNA, which is what both of our properties fall under. They're both residential properties. I've submitted noise measurement reports in decibels. It's a free application called NIOSH Slim. NIOSH comes from the National Institute of Occupational Health and Safety, was something I learned about during HAZWOPER training and refresher courses over the years. This noise has exceeded all OSHA requirements in both quantity and time of duration. OSHA states that at these noise levels, one should be wearing hearing protection, and their exposure to this noise should be limited to less than 8 hours a day. Sometimes the noise that is starting this has gone on for up to 10 hours a day. Prior to notification of both parties' awareness of this, Mr. Davies has peered through the windows of our home, starting at my office window, which does share the property line, my wife's office, which is at the back of the house, and he needed to actually reach the rear corner of both of our properties to do so and lean underneath the foliage to get a good look through us. He has leaned down, trying to see underneath of the blinds at the front of our house to peer in when the blinds are cracked open for our dog to look out. And it's honestly gotten to the point that we are quite alarmed. We were unaware of a lot of this and his potential for harm until Mr. Davies had told me a story of him hurting a girlfriend who left his house that morning to go live down in the jungle encampment. He had explained to me that he had gone down there looking for her and that some men had been angered about him searching for this woman. And he was worried that these men would come to his mother's property trying to find him. And he was worried for her safety, asking me to look out for her. I agreed. We had always had a cordial relationship with Miss Brown, and there was no issue between us at this point. Mr. Davies has crossed our property line numerous times without invitation to come talk to my wife or I when we are in front of our garage. It was our own naivety that did not tell him to leave because we were, again, cordial with our neighbor and her son. Starting on September 11th, around 12:30 in the morning, Mr. Davies was sanding a RV trailer that he's been attempting to remodel in the driveway of Miss Brown's property. This was prior to all of this noise going on, and it was kind of my final breaking point that he was outside of the standard hours of noise for a neighborhood, being after 8 p.m. At 9:37 in the morning, I texted his mom saying, hey, he was out there doing this in the middle of the night. That is substantiated in the text documentation between myself and Diane Brown on pages 9 and 10. Mr. Davies was relatively quiet that morning, and I have reason to believe that it was after that text message went out, his mother had contacted him and told him to keep it down, as she was not home at the time. The first time that Mr. Davies began pressure washing was as soon as I had somebody come over to the house to look at my boat, which is on the side of the house which our properties share. Person interested in the boat came over.
Yay, Christopher Engelby, the best neighbor you could have. Hi, Sherry B. Thank you so much, Chris. You are amazing. This whole situation is very weird. This guy is super prepared, though. I will say that. I think he said he was in health and safety. That would make sense. But, oh, it's Washington, John. Sorry, it's always Washington. Thurston County, Washington. For the TPOs. You find another TPO courtroom, let me know.
We're at 6:51 p.m. and left just before 8. The pressure washer turned on the moment we were out there and turned off the moment this man left. This was the first day that he was not pressure washing for the better part of the entirety of the day. The pressure washer was placed within 10 feet of myself and the person interested in the boat, and within 5 feet of my property line. On September 12th, Mr. Davies pressure washed nearly all day. At 5:06 p.m., I took a decibel recording showing a 79.8 decibel reading, peaking at nearly 95 decibels. Again, this is exceeding OSHA limits for even with hearing protection for over 8 hours. At approximately 5:10, I walked over to ask Mr. Davies to please move the pressure washer onto the other side of the RV trailer he was working on, in hopes that it would at least stop some of the sound from ricocheting between both of our homes, because that was the majority of the issue with where the pressure washer was placed. I understood that he was working on a project and I wasn't trying to interrupt him doing what he was doing. However, I explained to him that it being right outside my office window was causing me severe anxiety, headaches, and I honestly couldn't focus on my work. I do work from home. At 5:25, I ended up making a noise complaint. I had asked Mr. Davies before I did this one more time to please move it onto the other side of the pressure washer, or I would be making a noise complaint. I did this within view of him. And at 5:32 p.m., Olympia PD officer R. Donald had arrived Mr. Davies had stopped, cleaned up shop, and was nowhere in sight. I believe this is because I did say I was making a noise complaint and he did not want to be doing this action when PD had arrived. On September 18th, Mr. Davies witnessed my wife and I out on our property. I truthfully don't remember what we were doing, whether we were gardening or walking the dog, but he immediately began pressure washing as we had walked out onto the property. This was the day I made my second noise complaint. This was 6 days after I personally notified him that these actions were annoying and were harming us, and 7 days after I had notified the property owner of these actions as well. I forgot to mention that in that notification to the property owner, I did state would be happy to share the Washington Administrative Code that he was in violation of. I did say that if this continued, I would be making a noise complaint and that her address would be listed as the property, as this is where these occurrences are happening, but that Jesse Davies would be the one named in whatever action to be taken. On September 19th at 11:26 a.m., I made yet another noise complaint. I have a 1:43 p.m. reading showing 65.1 decibels, peaking at 85 decibels, again, over the the OSHA limits of what is acceptable for working conditions. At 3:24 p.m., Olympia PD Officer Jay Watkins arrived to Ms. Brown's property to discuss our complaints with her. Speaking with him on the phone, he had asked if we would like him to go speak with her, and we did. The property owner states in this time that Jesse Davies does not live there, and she also does not believe that any of this is happening and that it is wrong, or that it was not wrong, I'm sorry. But again, she was made aware of this 8 days prior, and he was made aware of this also 7.
I wonder what their water bill is if he's pressure washing like 8 or 10 hours a day. Doesn't that use a lot of water? I understand it, but also it's very like hard on your body to pressure wash all day, isn't it? Not just your ears, not just your little baby ears. Also, I've worked with guys like this before. And I feel bad for him, I get it, but also like I've also lived places where fucking construction was all day long and I worked from home. And the noise, the backup signs of like different things, just beep, beep, beep. It's just, you deal with it, right? I don't know. It can't go on forever. And again, call the city.
7 days prior. On September 24th, I took yet another reading, 75.1 decibels, peaking at 99.7 decibels, and made a noise complaint in the following minute. I believe it ended up turning off, and I called back stating that this wasn't happening anymore and that nobody needed to arrive. On October 10th, Mr. Davies heard my wife and I outside as we were preparing for a dog walk. As he was riding his bicycle out of his mother's driveway, he diverted his bike from the center line of the roadway onto our side of the street, came within approximately 5 feet of us, slowly passing us while turning both of his shoulders to our direction, menacingly staring and moving closer aggressively to us.
Mr. Brown, you don't have to repeat everything that you've already submitted in declaration form. That's kind of the reason it's submitted in declaration form is I've seen this and read this, and so it's not, you don't have to say it again. But if there are specific things, if you want to argue for your case for an anti-harassment order, you can point to specific, instances that are supported by the declarations that you filed. That's fine.
I guess I'm just trying to really hit home the point that both parties to my right have been notified for this actions for over a month on end. And that originally we did try to solve this between neighbors.
Okay. Mr. Davies, let me hear from you.
Oh, thank you.
And just to remind you too, I have the material that was submitted and on your behalf too.
Your Honor, is that what was filed on November 1st, a
Yes.
handwritten document?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Davis.
Your Honor, I feel a great relief that the court is now handling this matter, and I am thankful for that. I realize that this is probably my one and only chance to tell my side of the story. I will do my best not to waste the court's time. My mother, Diane Brown, owner of the 3921 Balsam Avenue, Northeast Olympia, Washington, 98506 property, is here in the courtroom today and wishes to be heard by the court. What she has to say definitely pertains to this case only. She is fully prepared to answer any questions that the judge might have about this case, as this matter greatly affects her.
Christopher Angleby, he's serious too. Thank you. You're so sweet. Thank you so much. Let me put it up on the screen. Why is the chat slow? Why? Oh, why? Also, do they not look the same age? Does she look like she's his mother? This is reminding me of like a Roald Dahl novel. Take that as you may. You know what I mean? But she obviously wrote this. Put the first sentence down and say that I'm in the courtroom with you and I am going to talk. The fuck is that?
Your Honor, the petitioners of this restraining order that has been placed against me bought the house next door to my mother's house not too long ago. I visit my widowed elderly mother quite often. My mother needs my help with a variety of things, so I come and go, and I am there quite often, helping my mother with a variety of things that she is unable to do. My mother and I have been experiencing a constant bombardment of a very wide variety of complaints from the petitioners of this restraining order. It has been very stressful and mentally exhausting for both my mother and I. I have often wondered, why are they doing this to us? No laws have been broken. A lot of complaints are about me making noise at times when I am not even there. Or they claim that I am running power equipment after the noise ordinance shut off time. And now, for a long time, they just call the police on me anytime there's any noise they don't care for in the neighborhood. Quite often, for long periods of time, the lady petitioner rarely misses a day of screaming insults at me at the top of her lungs.
The lady petitioner screaming insults to me at the top of her lungs. Christopher, fan of the year. Should we implement? I'll have to talk to Mikey. I need to talk to somebody with experience on that. But I will put it on my list. You're not a fraud. Not even close. But what is going on? What is going on with the pressure washer? Why is he pressure washering so much? And what in the fuck is happening at the back of the courtroom? Who's the lady at the back? She's making herself comfortable. She's having a drink. She's spread out. I'm pretty sure she's got her shirt or jacket hanging over the front thing. What in the fuck is going on? Also, Courtney! This is like a joke. Oh, maybe they wanted this taken down for a reason. Maybe we're gonna see some real good shit.
From her property. So I just hear these unfounded accusations and insults. Your Honor, I have never responded to any of these screams at the top of her lung accusations from the lady petitioner. Not even once, Your Honor. I have no wish to participate in any bickering with my mother's neighbors. Harassment is a form of violence, and I know that. I did not even know her name before this restraining order was placed on me. Your Honor, I am sure that you are aware of the fact that I do have a domestic violence on my record. And while I am not proud of that, I went to all of my domestic violence classes that I was ordered to by the court. I paid attention in class, and I had a really good teacher. My teacher even allowed me to go to his classes after I graduated, and I took advantage of that. So, Your Honor, I hope you can see that I have no wish to bicker with, harass, or any other form of violence towards petitioners. I understand that petitioners are saying that I they fear I will harm them. I can assure you, Your Honor, violence is not and will not be an option for me. I have not and will not ever allow myself to even entertain the idea of that. Although I have left my mother's property and distanced myself as a result of her screaming insults at me, the petitioner of this restraining order constantly tell my mother that the petitioners, excuse me, Your Honor, of this restraining order constantly tell my mother that none of this is against her, while my mother is the one that has been negatively affected the most. My mother is not one to complain, but she is worried she will have to sell her house to get away from the petitioners and the stress of having to deal with their constant bombardment of unfounded complaints. Your Honor, I know that that it's okay to experience anger, and it's just what we do with it that matters. I know why the laws are the way they are, and I know that they save lives. I'm not upset with this court or the petitioners for placing this temporary restraining order on me. About the video evidence with me and the leaf blower, I was scared. I turned around only to see if she was chasing me, so I would know if I had to run or not. To get away, I was shaking because I was scared. I revved the blower on accident. I am grateful to offer through the court my apology to all involved and through the court to seek a peaceful resolution only. And Your Honor, that's what I have. That's my statement that I prepared. I really feel like any of these accusations against me, that I feel like I did prepare a defense for them but I don't feel I need one. They're just accusations. I'm not guilty of them. And so I'm prepared to respond to any questions that you might have, Your Honor. And please allow my brother to talk, as this case greatly affects her. And so I think that's all I have, but I would like to answer any questions that you might have.
I think I just really only have a couple. Just so that I'm clear, you don't live there with your mother?
It's not my residence, no.
Okay, you live
I come and
someplace
visit.
else.
Oh, excuse me.
You live someplace else, but you come over a lot to help your mother?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. All right. I think that's just what I want to make sure I
I'm pretty
understood
scared.
clearly.
Well, if
You
I
know,
may, I'm pretty
yeah.
scared that I won't be able to help her anymore, and I'm scared that this is affecting her health. And so I'm not, that's all I have. That's all I have. Yes.
But you want me to hear from your mother?
What's that, sir?
You want me to hear from your mother too?
Oh, yes, if you wouldn't mind, I would appreciate the court to patience and time and thoughtfulness.
And
Yes, please,
Ms.
thank you.
Brown, why don't you raise your right hand, please? And do you swear the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, so Mr. Davies, what would you like to add? Would you like to ask your mother questions or?
I'm not good at this. I feel that I want, no matter what happens with this outcome, I just feel she deserves a chance to speak. So, because it greatly affects her. I don't know that this will help my case.
Well, let me Miss, if you don't mind, then
it definitely pertains to this case.
can I ask you a couple of questions then?
I
Just,
hope you ask me a lot of questions.
well, I'm just gonna have a couple. I want to make sure that, you know, this is sort of fairly heard. And
Right.
so, you know, the petitioners have brought a number of allegations about specific things that your son has done related to noise, related to trespassing,
okay.
related to PP. Now, do you have any personal knowledge from your own experience, in other words, seeing or hearing yourself, not hearing about it from your son, but just observations yourself that you can tell me about these allegations that Ms. Tahiri and Mr. Brown have brought?
Okay, I did get this printed evidence they submitted just recently. And I couldn't respond to everything that I saw that was like partial truth, taken out of context, untruth, things like that. I couldn't respond to all of that, all of the.
I don't know that I've ever heard a more confusing person speak in court. She said literally nothing this entire time. Every time she's spoken, everything, I'm just confuddled more and more. What in the fuck?
Police reports and other things that were submitted in writing, and I'm telling you the reason why. I'm gonna try not to waste your time too. In a one cohesive written, document and submit it to you in time, because I'm 70 years old and like many seniors, declining. I'm slower in thinking, concentrating, acting on deadlines, organizing thoughts and written documents, reading and spelling. I can't do many things that I used to do. I can't climb on my roof. My balance is bad. I can't do heavy lifting, sun exposure. I have torn meniscus in both knees, curvature of the spine, and I can't do many things that I could do 40 years ago when I was about the petitioner's age. I can't do them. I don't have technical equipment and I don't know how to use it. I even purchased a laptop on Monday and had it hooked up by professionals on Tuesday, but I didn't even know how to use it. And so I would be trying to write responses in time and then I'd rip them up, and then I would be in bed with severe headaches and diarrhea. And I don't wear Depends, but I wear them now. So my husband had a stroke in
What? Why did she say that? You didn't have to say that, ma'am. Ma'am! Why? Oh my god. I'm gonna fucking die. Oh my god. We have to listen again. She said it? No, did she have that part written down? Is this the part that got through? All of these, times she decided to throw away the speech? And this is what made it through? And there's nothing wrong with IBS or shit in your pants. It's tough, I get it, but you don't have to tell us. This is not pertinent.
on Monday and had it hooked up by professionals on Tuesday, but I didn't even know how to use it. And so I would be trying to write responses in time and then I'd rip them up, and then I would be in bed with severe headaches and diarrhea. And I don't wear Depends, but I wear them now. My husband had a stroke in 2009, and his care was expensive, even though I did very much of it. Had him with me for years. He was in an adult family home for 5 years. That depleted our resources. So it's not like I can hire people to do things for me, to do repair projects or maintenance and things like that. And I operate with hand tools because I don't have to keep them running. So unlike other widows in my loop, I can't hire too much done. So Jesse comes over and does big projects. I mean, they make it out to sound in their documentation that he's on the roof peering in their windows. And I mean, he worked on the back porch. I have pictures of it, of what it looks like. And it requires a lot of high up work on ladders and things like that. And I don't think I could even peer in their windows. The thing is, we have I'm trying to make this short, but I know I'm skipping a lot of stuff. We have a very narrow boundaries between their west side and my east side, very narrow. Most houses in our development, the houses are placed more in the middle. But with ours, it's a very narrow between our boundaries. And they happen to buy a house that had very narrow boundaries. And some of the issues with foliage and stuff are peering in. I mean, they removed several trees and a lilac bush, a big one, and a lot of stickery foliage from their back backside that boards the green belt. And so that made the whole, I think it's south side of their property, very visible to people that, like, sometimes a lost person or a homeless person comes and cuts through their yard or cuts through my yard. Well, if it happens to their yard, they really come unglued and are really paranoid. I just tell the person, here's, if you want to get to Folsom, go that way. You know, okay, finish going through my yard because they're in the middle of it, or go back to the Greenbelt and go out to Slater Kenny. I was really happy that you're giving me an opportunity to talk, because I even wrote something up about that will educate you more, at least you can take, about our neighborhood and the traffic.
Yeah,
So Folsom, the street we're on, Folsom Avenue Northeast, goes from Slater Kinney back to the Chehalis Trail. You go up that block and you have access to the Chehalis Trail, back and forth. And so we've got local schools, people, we've got regular bikers that some of them look like, you know, professional, you know, bike riders, and some of them look more like they're homeless and stuff, and people going to work via bikes and cars and walking. And so that's kind of like the traffic around and the noise
Filling out the
around.
order.
Now that I'm talking about noise, I question why they didn't go to code enforcement, because at first I didn't know that some of this stuff was police reports, and I didn't know that I could ask for copies of them. Once I asked for copies, I mean, if I have a file that contains the police reports, and if you allow me, I could go right through and say there's a lot of things that I thought, if the judge did have time to look it all over good before, would be amazed at the wording. I mean, one of the police reports, it doesn't even have the petitioner's name on it, one of the police reports, on who made the complaint. And there's one that you can't even tell if it's against Davies or the homeowner or both, because the police report might say they and them. And so who is they and them? They're just poorly written and misleading. And if I had them in front of me, you allow me the time, of course, I could tell you that. Same with, if I was allowed the time, I could go through all things in here that are clearly untrue. I mean, my side of the story is, and you know, if you cared to read what I wrote about the noise in the whole neighborhood, and other people doing remodels and adding porches and cutting bricks, very noisy, dirty things that can get a neighbor's car dirty, or just a lot of this noise complaint. And I just question why they didn't go to noise enforcement. Once I realized that the complaint.
Oh, hold on, lady. Oh my goodness. First of all, NPC, thank you so much. Oh. I can't even believe it. Hi. This is literally bordering on one of the craziest hearings we've ever had. They barely mentioned her. The lady in the back is making so much. Just this whole thing is a clusterfuck. I'm so glad I was able to get it. And thank you again so much. Look, I'm gonna heart it. I hearted it. And seriously, what does this have to do with the pressure washing? I mean, this is terrible though. I hope she's not suffering like mental decline.
Were all police department reports. I went downtown and because it was just next to the police department where I got a copies, and talked to someone that I used to know from St. Martin's College, because he's a business owner, and I explained about all the noise complaints, and he said, well, you need to go to noise enforcement. So I went up to noise enforcement on that.
Christopher, love you. Have a great night. Thank you so much. Seriously, love it. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great night. I really do. I hope you get your grocery order. Groceries. These people, oh my god, can you imagine talking to them at the grocery store? She'd never leave.
24th of September. And I talked to Jeff Finch and Dylan. I've got their cards in my wallet and I submitted them, even though my table of contents and things were late, I did submit them. And it was, I knew it was really late, but I'd been in bed most of the week and didn't have the equipment to reply with. So I did the best I could as soon as I could. Like I say, I don't have the ability to do like a college thesis all, like in the right.
Nobody asked you for a college thesis, ma'am. Can that be 1 month? No. I see a very long future for us, Runaway. Seriously, that's nuts. MB, please fire Christopher. I just did. What is going on? I've never done a college thesis either, ma'am, but I also never admitted to a judge and a YouTube live stream that people are making me shit my pants and now I like to wear Depends. Like, things are different. That could be taken out of context.
Format and everything. So anyways, I went to noise enforcement on the September 24th. And when I explained how one of the policemen treated me, they said our officers would never do that because I wasn't allowed to speak. I asked for a copy of the ordinance and they wouldn't give it to me. And I really, in my mind, questioned, and I'm not a paranoid person, but I questioned if it was really even a police officer or someone that was.
Ms. Brown, Ms. Brown, I'm gonna kind of pause you right there because I know.
I'm gonna pause you right there too. Look at Miss Donna Orlando Chiquita in lieu of a college thesis. Fucking better. Better. I love you so much. Thank you so much. How is Florida today? Do I wish I was there? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. You guys are so awesome tonight. What is going on here, though? Like, this is such a weird, weird case. Stay safe, Christopher. We love you. He's finally paused her. He, realize this is his first week dealing with TPOs. He's been off for 2 months doing other stuff. So this is his first week dealing with the TPOs. I'm going to guess that in a couple weeks, he's not going to be quite so calm. I don't know. You're in Cali and it's cold. And what did Jonna say? Rainy and dreary. Well, it's rainy here all the time too. Let's see what it's 45 degrees. Nope, 44 degrees and partly cloudy right now. That's what it is. I will say she looks pretty good for her age. She's like 70. But let's see what happens. I actually think, you think it's going to be, it's 41 in Minnesota? That is Minnesota. I'm pretty sure. I was looking at all the different states today. Don't ask me why. But you guys don't think it's going to be granted? I actually think it will. I think that he will grant it. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Have Have been before, will be again. Wrong as fuck.
This is important to you, but the things that you're telling me are not particularly relevant to the issues before me in terms of resolving the petition. So
I have one more
I'm gonna
really,
kind of,
It's okay.
I know you
It's okay,
want to
Mom.
say
It's
things,
okay.
but
It's okay.
I'm just sort of put that aside in your mind for a minute, because I want you to be, if you can be, this isn't a requirement, but I want you to, if you know, tell me what happened with regard to these incidents that have been raised by the petitioners,
Yes.
right?
okay, what happened about these incidents?
Yeah, if you know, if you were there, if you saw it or heard it yourself. There's
Some
been
of-
allegations raised about what
Okay,
Mr. Davies did, and if you know anything
Okay,
about that,
okay,
can you
I-
respond to
okay.
that? If you don't know anything
okay, I
about
do
it,
know,
that's
I
fine
do
too.
know about, I
Yeah.
do know about some of them. I do know about some of them. I saw the video, I saw a video that was put on my email and with a professional computer person helping me bring it up. I saw the one about the leaf blower. And I don't know if you saw it, but to me, I thought it looked pretty incriminating against the petition, one of the petitioners. You know, streets, yeah.
Do you know anything about that circumstance other than you saw the video later?
On the leaf blower, okay, I do know something. I noticed, I think on that day, that the leaf blower looked like it might have started up by my handicap ramp, because all the needles were blown off there and on my driveway some. And I didn't have a view of what happened in what one of the petitioners started filming. I didn't have a view of that. That's all I can say on that. But I did see what I saw in the video.
May we have a chance to respond?
Yeah, Your Honor, I feel like this is my turn, and this is probably my one and only chance.
Mhm.
I, excuse me. Pardon me, Your Honor. I have copies of all these false accusations against me. Now, I also, at the same time, I feel like if I feel like if I start to respond to them, then that's just like it turns it into a bickering thing between them and I. So I really, Your Honor, I'm scared that if I do that, that it'll be considered bickering. But I do have definitely. I hoped you would ask me questions about any of them, because I do have a logical explanation for all of them, and I don't. So I guess I'm going to leave it at that, because unless, I hope you ask me questions, but I don't think it's your job to. But I don't think, but I also, I'm real scared that if I start to try to defend myself on these, that it will be like I'm doing exactly what I'm not supposed to do. And I know what I'm not supposed to do, and I'm not a danger to anybody. So, and I know how to handle myself, because I had a really good teacher in domestic violence. I've been doing that. I've been using the tools that he gave me, taught me to handle myself accordingly. And there's no danger to anyone from me as far as violence. That's not going to happen. It's not. I wouldn't.
Yeah, Mr. Davies, I get what you're telling me, that
Yeah.
you don't want to be, characterized as
Well,
a person who's dangerous or
Well,
poses a risk to others.
It's characterized as one thing, but it's just that, the thing is I'm, no matter what anyone says or does to me, I'm not that man. I'm not gonna hurt anybody.
I get that that's important to you
Therefore,
to put out
Yeah,
to
excuse me.
the court, so that I
Your Honor,
understand that. I
Yeah.
get that.
yeah,
But I guess what I'm trying to, tell everybody and sort of
Yeah,
convey
yes,
here is
yes,
that
sir.
I've kind of got a narrower focus than that.
oh, yeah, yes,
So-
yeah, I want to keep it narrow also.
That's why
Yeah.
I'm, trying to get the focus more sort of directly on the allegations that have been put forward by the petitioners.
Yes, and I would like to respond to those. In
That's what-
fact, I
if
need
you
to, don't
would,
I?
Please, yeah.
Oh, okay, yes, so, the allegations of the petitioners, from what I understand of the noise ordinance, sir, they've seen I've been doing stuff like midnight and stuff like that, like midnight and late
Yeah.
at night. Well, those
They
times
did.
I haven't been there. And I haven't even, I haven't realized one single incident where, and I'm not trying to do this noise facetiously, I'm not. But, and so I haven't realized one single time, it seems like to me, like they're trying to get me in trouble for, I don't know, just to get rid of me, if this is their way of getting rid of me. Well, and I really need to be there to help my mother. And by the way, I do have got, I don't, the pressure washer's no longer there. I'm trying to resolve this like peacefully without any confrontation with them. I don't want, I like them and I don't want to be, I don't need, I'm saying this through the court, please, not one only. I don't wish to have any kind of, I don't wish to harm them. And now I realize that, Your Honor, that one of the petitioners is pregnant and and so this is my one only chance. So I
One
would
of them
like
is
to
pregnant,
congratulate
dude?
them through the court. I don't,
Okay, now that's really creepy. Why would you mention that? Nobody else mentioned that. What did he just say? He made it. What did he just say? My one and only chance? Please, 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 please say Paisley was wrong about that, right? I'm wrong. We're gonna go back. We're gonna listen to it together. It's not gonna be right. I will have misheard. Nobody's pregnant. Come on. Did he see the pregnancy test in the bathroom while peeping in their windows, allegedly? This is fucking unhinged, by the way. I can absolutely see why the judge was like, hey, you know what? Go ahead and pull those hearings down. Pull them down.
I'm trying to resolve this like peacefully without any confrontation with them. I don't want, I like them and I don't want to be, I don't need, I'm saying this through the court, please, not one only. I don't wish to have any kind of, I don't wish to harm them. And now I realize that, Your Honor, that one of the petitioners is pregnant and and so this is my one only chance. So I would wish to congratulate them through the court. I don't want to harm them. I don't admit guilt because I didn't know that I was, I don't admit guilt because didn't feel I was guilty. So anyways, I guess that's all I have to, I really don't.
I think they need to move. I think they need to move. I would move. I would move. Well, let's be realistic. Well, I don't know. I'm a little more aggressive than the guy stating his administrative codes over there. I think that they're gonna issue this order.
Don't know how to defend myself on this, on each and every one of these, because as far as I know, they're accusations. I'm not, all these things with me peering in windows and that kind of thing, it's natural for someone to look around them while they're walking or riding their bicycle. And I'm definitely not trying to look in their windows. I don't want to. And I'm at my mother's house a lot, and it may appear that way, but that's not what it is. I'm not that man. I'm not at all. So
I understand what you're saying. I do. But
thank you.
it's not difficult to make a ruling in this case. I mean, I want you all to understand that I'm not here to enforce noise standards that are promulgated by various agencies in the state or the city.
This is just,
This isn't about.
yeah, this is about
You're not accused of any criminal behavior. These accusations that have been brought by the petitioners.
Yeah.
This isn't a criminal context. So
I
it's not a
understand.
question of whether you're guilty of any kind of a crime.
Yeah,
And
if I'm
I'm
a
not
danger or not, isn't it?
able to regulate or police the rules of a neighborhood, like a neighborhood
Yeah, I don't
association or something
expect
like that. There's there's often confusion about that
Yeah,
when we're
I
here at
don't-
anti-harassment.
I don't
proceedings.
expect-
So, you know, the question is whether there's been a course of conduct directed at these petitioners that seriously harasses, alarms, annoys them, and whether they suffered substantial emotional distress, and whether or not that was reasonable under the circumstances.
Yes, Your Honor.
And the evidence that they put forward to the court in terms of their testimony, in terms of their declarations, and what they say happened establishes that. It's clear to me that, you know, this is using, you know, the machinery, the noise, the times it's being used, the circumstances under which it's being used is absolutely detrimental to them. And that's before I consider the allegations about, you know, peering through the windows and things like that.
Yes.
That would give any reasonable person the belief that they're being targeted by a course of conduct that's designed to annoy or alarm them, and it's doing that. So that, I think, is established. The question is now that it is established is what to do about it. You know, I'm not gonna put an order in place that says your mom can't have you come over.
Thank you.
But there is gonna be an order put in place. You gotta leave these people alone, right? Because what has happened to them is seriously annoying and harmful to them, and has caused them serious emotional distress, and they're entitled not to have to live like that. Now, you, Mr. Davies, may be able to resolve this yourself just by being more mindful of that.
Yes, Your Honor.
You
Yes,
know,
Your Honor.
it's not an excuse that you didn't
I fully intend to do that.
With or
without the
know
court.
that they were being alarmed by it, although it's kind of hard to believe because
I didn't catch what you
according
just
to them,
said. I didn't catch what you just said, Your Honor. I apologize.
So I am issuing an order that's going to require you to stay away from them and not to continue any of these acts against them.
Does that mean I can't work on my mom's house?
No,
Your Honor, can we keep a distance requirement so that he cannot be on the side of her property that does peer
No.
into my window?
I don't have the ability. Now, no crosstalk in the courtroom,
Understood.
right? No, and because the reason is that I don't have a jurisdiction. This court doesn't have jurisdiction to restrict the way he uses
I just mean
real property.
From our property.
But he does have to stay away from you.
Hi, Ed. You missed quite a doozy, I'll tell you that much. I saw that coming. Them speaking didn't help much. If they had shut up, they would have had a better case. Well, not really, MB, because he's not putting a distance restriction on it. He's just saying you can't go to these people's house. Also, if I were them, get blinds. Get curtains. Get something. Or walk around naked. I don't give a fuck. I walk around naked all the time. And our blinds are open and there's people that drive by all the time. I bet they like it. He's filling it out. Do you think they'll take no for it? Like, I anticipate problems with this order coming up. That's what I'll say. Could you imagine if you have the freaking...
This order will be in effect for the next year. November 4th, 2025. And I want you to be clear that this order is personal in nature. In other words, it protects the individuals of the petitioners and it doesn't regulate property use. All right, so I know your great concern is that you can go over to your mother's house and help her. You
It
can,
is, it
there's
is.
no restriction
Well,
on doing
it's
that.
not my only great concern, Your Honor. My great concern is also following the law. And I respect this court completely. And
Fine, as long as you do that.
yeah,
Your Honor, thank you for hearing me.
You're welcome. So the order has been signed, the clerk has got it, we'll file it, and it'll be available to everybody from the court's records at any time. Yeah.
thank you, Your Honor.
Next case is going to be Harmon and Harmon versus.
The next case is gonna be another day. Not today. Today is done. Thanks so much for being here, guys. I really appreciate it. I hope that you have a good rest of your night. I am trying to think of what I can eat as a little sweet treat. Ugh. Should probably eat nothing, but you know how it goes. Anyways, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your evening. Remember to keep an eye out for a new premiere tomorrow that will be coming out, and go check it out. The one that I did today. Let me know what you think. I am gonna try and do one each day this week. Woo! Woo! Good job, Paisley. All right. Remember that I love you and I'm proud of you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Always down and ready to ride.